Sorry for the technical difficulties, and we are back. And since you've been gone, there's been a touchdown for both sides. One where Dejon Golston ran it all the way down to the 2, and French would score the touchdown. French is going to pitch it out to the outside. It's caught by Leo Boyd. Leo Boyd works up the sidelines, and they're going to get about 7-8 yards there as he was tripped up on the far side of the field. That was the tackle by what appeared to be Ress Beard. 2nd and 3. And for Kokomo, they got a touchdown on a Barker-to-Barker connection, and there's a neutral zone infraction. The hard snap gets the defender of Kokomo to lean forward and to move the ball forward 5 yards. That was Tracy Dowling. First down. So the Bearcats have some momentum on offense. Had a 67-yard play, then scored on a QB sneak. Kokomo responded with their touchdown. Runner in motion. They fake the handoff, pitch it to the outside. Trying to put a move on the defender was Josiah Ullum, and he had nowhere to go. And that was a good heads-up play on the outside by Beard. Read that like a book. He got there, and for Ullum, he had nowhere to go. He was trying to go into his bag and work around it, but he couldn't. And this is all sorts of confusing. The ball was snapped, and the quarterback just dumped the ball away, and Trenton French. That was a business decision. That might have been the most awkward incomplete pass I've ever seen. 3rd and 16 from the 26. Third and 16 from their own 26-yard line. 3 receivers are spread out to the left, 1 to the right, and you have Allen in the backfield. French going to throw. He's got a clean pocket. But right up, induced by the Kokomo defense. They'll start on the 35-yard line. Wow. That ball seemed as though it was the players trying to put lipstick on a pig as no one could bring it down. But Rondell Green, the safety, has a fumble recovery and now a pick. Can Kokomo score again and make this a 4-possession game? They're up 28-7. As you might know, right before we went off the air, they missed a 2-point conversion. They converted the second time. Story goes in motion. Barker's going to throw. He's got 2 options to his right. He's going to throw to his brother, Barker. Barker going up the field, and Andrew Barker is out of bounds, but they got the first down and much more. They're inside the red zone, just outside that 15. The Barker connection has been paying dividends for Kokomo as they pick up yet another first down. Their offense has been lethal, throwing the ball a lot more than they normally do. As I have to think, right before we even go into the second half, that the QB, Evan Barker, has more passing yards this half than he has the entire season. A pitch around to Keegan Dame. Keegan Dame stumbles forward, and he's marked down at the 1. Keegan Dame had a long touchdown earlier on in this ball game, and right there he shows off again that Keegan Dame can constantly run with a mean intention, and they are knocking on the door of their 5th touchdown of the first half. Keegan Dame going to come out for a breather. They may be limping a little bit on that leg. In the backfield now is Seifert Barnes, the fullback. Story to the left. Barker's under center. Story goes in motion. They give it to Story. Story's in. Touchdown. Story just gives the ball to the referee. Heads off the field, and it's 34-7 pending the extra point. Kokomo is starting to pull away with this ball game. They continue with the ground and pound. They've incorporated the passing today, and because of that, Muncie Central has been guessing against this Wildcat offense. Seifert Barnes ready for the extra point. Barker going to be holding it for his fullback. The hold, the kick, and this one is good. After the interception by Rondell Green, Kokomo marches down the field and scores a touchdown. They're up 35-7 with 6:31 left to go on the Indiana High School Sports Network.
Unfortunately, with our technical difficulties, we did lose our ability to go to break, so we're just going to have to read our ads live. So tonight's game brought to you by Greg Huber Ford, our sponsor here in the East Central Indiana area. Also brought to you by High Gear Marketing, by Universal Roofing, and other sponsors in the Muncie area. Score is now 35-7 as I'm able to join us back here.
Hi, Sam.
How you doing, Andrew? I seem to have missed
For everyone that is watching this game, give a nice round of applause to Sam. Sam was trying to work his way around trouble as we did have an iPad go out. But now we're up and ready to go. Sam will be doing our color commentary while also running our cameras. So I guess you can call you a dual threat quarterback.
Trying to do my best here on the hobbled iPads that we've got, but it's certainly been fun so far, and we've had ourselves a great game. Kokomo has looked great, haven't they?
Yeah, Kokomo with 35 points now, as Evan Barker had no passing touchdowns through the first 3 games. He's got 2 today. 1 to his tight end, John Curl, and 1 to his brother, Andrew Barker. Here comes the kick, and it's going to be picked up by Josiah Olam. Olam picks up with one hand. He goes to his left, makes a man miss. He's trying to work his way up the field, and he is going to be brought down on a nice tackle by Brixton Morris, as Morris had to sprint on over there and tackle Olam before Olam found a seam. Olam is a slippery runner, and he proved it right there. A good return, and they will start with the ball on the 32-yard line. All right, that's actually the 27-yard line. As Trenton French, who threw an interception to end their last drive, will have to bounce back here. He did get credited with the 67-yard pass on a screenplay to Dejon Golston. Handoff to his running back, Marquise Allen. Marquise Allen works his way past the 30-yard line, and they'll stop him at the 32.5-yard line, gaining 5 yards, and they cut the yards to go in half.
This is a big drive right now for Muncie Central. Obviously, the game's starting to slip away from them a little bit with it being 35-7, but if they are able to punch in a touchdown here, that's a big momentum swing for them heading into the second half.
Here comes the blitz. They give it right back to Allen. Allen keeps the legs moving, and I will say that Kokomo is a very physical team. You saw the tackle right there as they stop Allen, as he got maybe a yard or 2. They didn't go very far. They're hurrying up to the line, and that is the definition of a neutral zone infraction. That will go on Caden Dempsey, and first down for Muncie Central. They've ran the hard count numerous times, and it feels as though they've made it work 3 or 4 times tonight.
It's been successful, and with as dominant as Kokomo has been in this game, that's definitely something that they can take away on the defensive side of the ball. With as stout as this Kokomo defense has been, the hard count is a place where they need to improve, obviously, and I'm sure that's something that will be addressed at halftime. First down,
10 to go on their own 40-yard line. They're going to give it to the man in motion, Josiah Olam. Actually, it was a keeper from French. Kokomo tried to rip the ball away, and stopping Trenton French was a herd of Wildcats. And there was a penalty on the far side of the football field. Not sure if you can see on your cameras. It's right in front of the Kokomo bench. And it's a sideline warning on Kokomo. There is a lot of white jerseys on that side, so not shocking that a referee would have ran into one of them. First one's a warning if you're not accustomed to that rule. Second one is automatic 15 yards.
Well, that sideline certainly has a lot to be excited about tonight with the way this Kokomo team has played in this first half, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
2 split backs. The man in motion is Leo Boyd. They fake it to Boyd and hand it off up the middle. First down for the Bearcats. A good run up the middle by Deshaun Echolis.
Yeah, Echols that time with a great run up the gut. That was one of the more explosive runs that we've seen from Muncie Central in this first half. I like what I saw that time from Eccles.
Eccles with the first down. Kokomo showing blitz. They're going to go through the air. French does a pump fake. He's got a man behind him. He gets rid of it. Ball deflected in the air. It goes right into the of Leo. And that is another first down. It hit off of Kirby's hand and right into Boyd's arms, as all he had to do there was catch the ball and keep the feet in bounds.
Yeah, well, for Drake Kirby there, that's why he's playing at the linebacker position and is not a wide receiver. That was an absolute, that was written up as an interception, and he's going to want to have that one back.
And this is going to be offsides on Muncie Central. That's on Jordan Miles, the left guard. He's just the only one that moves, so it's kind of hard to not point a finger at him on that penalty. And after you get a big play, get your second first down of the drive, starting to get something sustained here, then you have a penalty like that that can really slow down the momentum, moving back 5 yards to their own 42. 4:27 to go. Split backs. Fake the pitch to the left, trying to work his way outside. Here comes Kokomo, and they got him on the ground. And they're going to mark him down as the running back, Deshaun Eccles, was leveled in the backfield. There were so many white jerseys, you couldn't tell who's the one that knocked the daylights out of him. But either way, that's more yards lost for Muncie Central. They lost 7. They're just outside of going back into their own territory.
If you're Muncie Central, you just got to try and get back to the line of scrimmage instead of running laterally.
French is trying to go to his right. He throws it. Ball is batted away. Trying to get the interception was the cornerback, Devon Thomas, as he read it perfectly, just couldn't bring the ball down. That looked like a broken play from the start.
It did for sure. That seemed like a little bit of miscommunication that time from Muncie Central. I think the quarterback for the Bearcats, French, was looking for maybe a screen pass out to his right on second and long, but it just didn't turn out that way. He did well to dish the ball away instead of taking a sack, though. I will give him credit for that. The
Bearcats are down 28 points. There's the snap. They're going to go for the deep ball. Shot, and they couldn't find Cole. That was just phenomenal coverage by Reese Beard. And fourth down for Muncie Central. They're going to punt it away. And Kokomo calls a timeout. And sounds like a Muncie Central coach was not too happy with the final timeout by Kokomo. We're going to stay here. And Sam, I like the play call there by Muncie Central. You're down 28 points, might as well go for it.
Absolutely. It makes for an exciting play. Unfortunately for the Bearcats, the ball was just a little bit underthrown that time from French. It made DeMarcus Cole turn into a defensive back there more than a wide receiver. But he did well to back it all the way. I do agree with you, though. Aggressive play call here at the end of this first half. What has not been a very productive first half on the offensive side of the ball for Muncie Central. They've lost a turnover battle for sure. But if they're going to get back into the game, that was a surefire way to do it. Fortunately for them, though, they're going to have to punt the ball away.
For DeMarcus Cole, I see what they're trying to do with that matchup. Cole is 6'1", and for Reese Beard, he's only 5'7". So you at that 6-inch difference, you put that ball on the top shelf, there's a very good chance Cole comes away with it. But again, you mentioned it, that ball was severely underthrown.
Another thing about Cole, too, he is the guy that French has looked to in the air this year. 12 receptions, leads the team. He's got 242 yards receiving, and for a team that's struggled on offense this year, that's pretty solid in terms of DeMarcus Cole. Also caught both touchdowns through the air, the only 2 touchdowns through the air for Muncie Central heading into tonight.
Now, it looked like it was the head coach of the Bearcats, Kyle Badgett, that was getting after his old line. Line drive, punt, rolling back, and it's stopped. Actually, Kokomo is going to field it. It was such a late field by Rondell Green that was going to be downed, as there was a Muncie Central player that did stop the ball and throw it back in. It was Josiah Olm, again, seems to be everywhere. He was the gunner there. He kept the ball in play, and for Kokomo, that was a gamble.
It was. I think he was expecting a touchback, the ball going back into the end zone. But he does give his team a little bit of a cushion rather than being on their own 1-yard line with the threat of the Muncie Central defense bearing down on them.
We'll see if the Wildcats can score one more touchdown before the end of this first half. 3:23, starting on their own 6, up 28 points. There's the exchange to Barker. Barker pitches it immediately to Story. Story bounces off a couple of Bearcats, and first down. They got 11 yards, so you can move those chains for Kokomo, and that's a good way to start your drive after you start in the shadow of your own end zone.
Absolutely. Kokomo has an array of running backs, an array of weapons that they've used, and they have all ran with such tenacity tonight. It's been a really impressive performance on the ground, as we expected from the Wildcats.
Another pitch to Story. Same exact play. Story's got a convoy in front of him. He makes a defender miss. He just lowered his shoulder and knocked him down. First down, Kokomo. Unfortunately for Muncie Central, that was Orlando Golson that was leveled by Story. And first down, Kokomo on back-to-back plays to Story, who's working as the left wing back. Story in motion. Third time's a charm, I guess. There's a pitch to Story up the middle. Story keeps those legs moving as he drug a Bearcat defender with him another 3 or 4 yards. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep feeding Story. He got 6 yards.
Well, I think he's a little exhausted after those last 3 plays. They're going to sit him on the bench. But, man, isn't he the right combination of speed and strength? Haven't seen a whole lot of explosiveness from him running the football. But when he gets into open field and lower his shoulder, he'll keep those legs turning, like you said.
They're going to reverse it this time. And going down the far sideline is Name. And Name stamps out of bounds just outside the 40-yard line. And I have to say, you can't go wrong with either Keegan Name or Junior Story. And not only do they have a great tandem of running backs, they also have the all-name team.
Yeah, they've got some great names on this Kokomo team.
Story, Name, Beard. You gotta love it. Common words that we use every day used as names tonight. It's a fake. Parker rolling out to his right. He's gonna tuck it and run. And he will step out of bounds, running out by his own bench around the 35-yard line. It's going to be on the 34. That's where they mark it here on the near sidelines. And it's going to make about 3 more yards to go for another first down.
That's one thing we haven't seen Barker do as much tonight as we thought perhaps he would. He had 4 carries with 308 yards on the ground and 4 touchdowns using his legs heading into this game. But he has not been scampering around tonight as much as we usually see him.
Story in motion. They're going to give it to him for the 4th time this drive. He's got the first down. He's still going. And a first down, Kokomo. They're running it effectively. They're passing it effectively. And you have to give a big shout-out to the O-line for the work they're putting in tonight.
Absolutely. Across the front, you've got Gunter, Dempsey, Duncan, Horner, and Groves. They are putting in the work tonight. They are one of the big reasons that the Wildcats are up by 28 on the road here as the first half starts to wind down.
They're on the 21. They started on their own 6. They have gone a long way. Getting close to scoring a touchdown. Pitch to the outside. Name going to his left. Ball up for it. And it's might have it.
The Bearcats might have fallen on it that time.
Josiah Olam punched it out. And they're going to say Kokomo somehow ended up with it. There it is. It's Sharp, the tight end. He's going to make it 2nd and 1. And if you're Kokomo, you're breathing a little bit easier after somehow, some way you got that ball back.
Yeah, wow. That's a tough break for Muncie Central because that was a great punch on defense that time. I thought somebody in a purple jersey landed on it that time for the home team, but fortunate for Kokomo that they were able to recover.
They're from the 12. They're going to pass it. Barker is open. Barker to Barker. Did he catch it? Did he catch it? Markham at the 5. Not sure if that maybe hopped into his arms, but they're going to say that Andrew Barker caught the pass from Evan Barker, and 1st and goal. Under a minute to go. Can Kokomo make it a 35-point game and get running clock in the second half? Barker moving up to the ball. Play clock at 21. Give him the Story. Story going up the middle. He's keeping the legs moving. They're trying to push him in. Bearcats pushing him back and marking him short. They got 2.5 yards there. 35 seconds. You ever heard of a 30-second offense before? Because here we go.
I think Story might have ran out of gas on that play that time. It's hard to run the football in such close quarters right on the goal line, and it looks like they're going to switch up their back set here.
22 seconds. We're at 20 seconds now. In the game clock. They're pitching it, and a pitch to Shane Spear, whose father was a running back at IU. He gets the touchdown, and the Kokomo Wildcats are pulling away with this football game before we even get a second half.
Yeah, Spear known for his aggressiveness on the defensive side of the ball as the big linebacker up the middle, but that time he trucks straight through that Muncie Central defensive line to punch it through, and a huge lead for the Wildcats against Muncie Central here to head into the break.
If they knock in this extra point, that means running clock for the second half, as we experienced that last week in the Alexandria Monroe game against Blackford. Low snap, low kick. A 34-point game.
Yeah. Hey, we'll take as much football as we can.
Yeah. Last week I felt like the running clock was not so much fun for us. We only got half an hour of the second half.
Not to mention that half of that third quarter seemed to be wasted by a discussion
Oh, yeah.
visuals on the middle of the field.
I had nightmares about that. But hey, if you're with us, thanks for sticking around through our technical difficulties. We're happy to have you with us. Happy to have Greg Huber Ford as a sponsor here on the Indiana High School Sports Night. Andrew Mile and Sam Niger from Muncie Central for our Week 4 matchup between the two North Central Conference rivals. First time these two teams have met since 2019, in which the last time they met, Kokomo won that game 31-20. Little bit of a different story tonight. I don't know if you could see it on your screen in the scoreboard, but 41-7 with 15 seconds to go. There's a very good chance with Muncie Central down as many points as they are and 2 timeouts left that when they get the ball back, they may just take a knee and run it out and try to regroup in halftime. And when we do come back from halftime, Sam will be on the play-by-play. But it's all Kokomo. It's really the best way you can put it. The offense looked phenomenal. Besides one play on defense, they've also looked phenomenal. They've controlled all 3 levels of a football game: offense, defense, and special teams. There is the kick. Olam will field it on the hop, going right up the middle. He works to his left, and he is tackled at the 29-yard line, as there was a little bit of a scuffle in the middle of the field by 41 of Kokomo. That is Brixton Morris, and that was 32 Deshaun Eccles.
Yeah, a little extracurriculars going on that time after the kickoff.
Just got a little bit of frustration going on right there.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Muncie Central take a knee here. Let the temperature kind of like calm down a little bit for both of these sides.
Let the tempers cool down a little bit. They're going to run it, and they got nothing. The first man there was the linebacker, Tracy Dowling, who had himself a great first half, and not only him, but the entire Kokomo team, as they will head to the grassy knoll area beyond the north end zone and really have a celebration how well they played in that first half. Muncie Central going back to the locker room below us, and they're going to be down 34 points. And if there was one more point, if the extra point was good, then we'd have a running clock to start the second half. So we are going to take a break. We'll come back for a halftime show. 15 minutes until the second half resumes. Your score here from North Central Indiana is the Bearcats down 41-7.
the Bearcats of today and reflect on the proud football culture of those teams, players, and the extended football family. At tonight's games, the players and their families are gathered at the south end of the stadium under the Walker Pavilion. This season marks the 20th anniversary of the highly accomplished and talented team of 2002. All gathered had a significant role in the storied season that saw the Bearcat program come of age and reach significant accomplishments, which included being selected as Channel 13 Operation Football Team of the Year. After two consecutive 7-win seasons in 2000 and 2001, the 02 team won the first of three consecutive North Central championships. This accomplishment was the first of its kind in over 48 years. The 2002 team and its 8 seniors, known as the 8 Blocks of Granite, marched through an exciting and undefeated regular season with the significant wins over Richmond, Marion, and the most impressive win over an all-star field team, Lafayette Jefferson, on the road at their homecoming. The team became highly ranked as it entered into sectional play against the rival top-ranked and undefeated Delta Eagles. A game tabbed One for the Ages found the Bearcats victorious 9-7 here at Ball Recreational Field. A final crowning achievement for the team came in the sectional here at home against the highly touted Fort Wayne South Ball Club. Maybe the most exciting game capped off the magical season as the Cats recovered from a 24-point deficit in the third quarter for an epic comeback win, 28-24, winning the school's first ever sectional championship in front of a capacity crowd. This would be the first of 3 consecutive sectional championships over the next 5 seasons. Players from that team, some present and some not gathered on the track, include the 8 seniors, all starters: Chris Boulder, Eric Fowler, Marcus Rush, Josh King, Brian Spizik, Jumbo Elliott, Jared Hargis, and Nathan Blevins. Other players on the team include Zach Toll, Kenny Meeks, Markel Bond, Sweet Lewis Johnson, Riley Buchanan, Alex Daniel, and Jeff Walker, along with Lamar Bird, Dylan Churchill, Reed Shear, Gian Huggins, Eric Lowe, and yes, current coach Matt Miller. Kicker punter Jordan Nicholson. And coaches from that team present include tonight Rich Green, Bill Seals, John Hostetler. Also present is Principal Mr. Dick Daniel. Not present tonight are important individuals who have since passed away, including Bearcat supporter and superfan Jerry Smith, team trainer Brent Schroeder, and teammate standout player Lamar Bird. Lamar's son Amari is here representing his father. A special thanks to Beth Beasley for her guidance and hard work as a booster president, and to the Walker family, especially for the gift of the pavilion as a gathering place for such events. Go Bearcats! Thank you, 2002 Bearcats, players, families, administrators, coaches. Thank you very much. One more time, one more big applause for these guys.
Welcome back to Muncie Central. This is our halftime show. Andrew Mild and Sam Niger from literally on top of the press box today. We have bird's eye view of the football field today. They honored a couple of Muncie Central football teams, the 2002 team that had a magical season, the 1971 team that's celebrating their 50th anniversary, their 50th graduation class. So congratulations to them. And for Kokomo, they're doing their own celebrating.
Absolutely. They dominated that first half, 41-7 at halftime. We were close to that 35-point running clock, but the missed extra point at the end gives us a lot more football to work with here in the second half, which Andrew and I, of course, are not complaining about. But honestly, you can't even pick one guy for Kokomo. They've just been so electric as a unit. On offense and defense. They've looked at a bunch of different guys running the football throughout. Junior Story was a big one for the Wildcats. Also running the football was Keegan Name, number 22 for the Wildcats. And on defense, it's been that linebacker core of Dowling, Barker, Spear, East, and Kirby. All five of them have just been electric on the defensive side of the ball. And Muncie Central has been unable to cope. It's been a lot of what we've expected. Honestly, Kokomo taking care of business. They had the energy before the game started, and they've carried it over through the whole first half.
If Kokomo, they ran the ball down the throat of Muncie Central that last drive to give them the 34-point lead. But I've also been really impressed today with Evan Barker, the quarterback of Kokomo. I think going into this game, they told him, we're going to make you throw the ball a lot more because they have a little bit more room for error, considering that they are a much better team than Muncie Central coming into the game, with Kokomo being the number 5 team in the state and Muncie Central being lost somewhere in the shuffle of the basement of the 4A rankings. And he's looked great. He's ran with really the opportunity. Him and his brother, all those times thrown in the backyard, have really paid dividends for Kokomo.
Yeah, Barker. That's a great point about Barker and about why they are getting him more involved in this game. He had 3 interceptions and no touchdowns through the air coming into tonight. So I think it's a lot of settling him in, trying to get him used to throwing so that when big games do come up, he's able to throw the football. Because let's be honest, Kokomo's offense does not lend itself to fast-paced offense.
No.
So if they need to move the ball quickly, they've got to rely on Barker. And 10 tosses through the first 3 games isn't going to get it done on a big stage. So I like that they're getting him involved tonight. That's a great point.
The point that you made going to the very end of the first half was that Kokomo was winning the turnover battle. And really, that just proves that Kokomo has made less mistakes. You take a couple of holdings and that chop block that they had, and they also made a mistake earlier on a lot of hard counts where they've allowed Muncie Central to get first downs because of that. That's really the only mistakes they've made. For Muncie Central, the first 2 drives of the game had net negative yardage where they false starts, a ball going through the hands of Trenton French, the quarterback, where they lost him 18 yards in the very first drive. You and I were almost laughing because Muncie Central got 3 yards, and that was their first positive drive.
Yeah, Muncie Central just got settled in a little too late. They really haven't looked that bad as of late on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, they're not moving the ball with as much efficiency as Kokomo, but they've proved that they're able to score on the Wildcats. And the good thing about this second half is for Muncie Central, the pressure is completely off. I mean, you're down 34 points at home. You can kind of collect yourselves in the locker room. I know they're probably very upset, but they have a clean slate here in this second half, and they get the ball to start. We'll see if their offense can't make a drive down the field, settle in, get into more of a rhythm, and play the rest of this football game out to the best of their abilities.
Well, you're seeing it on your screen. Kokomo is going back onto the field as they make an entrance from the north end zone. Muncie Central's had a couple of coaches come up and down their entranceway that's right below us. And for Kokomo, they have this game wrapped up. It just depends on how many points are they going to win it by. If they score just even a field goal here at the end, running clock for the rest of the game. We already saw that last week with Blackfoot and Alexandria Monroe. We don't want to see that, but we understand why that is a rule.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, last week especially was a testament to that. It was homecoming, and Alexandria Monroe was clobbering Blackfoot. Blackfoot was hobbled last week. Hopefully we get a little bit of a different story here in this second half. Muncie Central has the ability to score points, as we mentioned. We'll see if they can't start the second half off on a good note here, which gets rolling in about 3 minutes. here at Muncie Central High School.
Yeah, we're going to take a 90-second break. We'll come back, and we will be here to cover the second half of Kokomo versus Muncie Central from Muncie, Indiana, here on the Indiana High School Sports Network, presented by Greg Hubler Ford. 1 minute to go before the halftime clock will run out, and we will be going into the second half of play. Andrew Miles and Sam Niger. Kokomo is in the south end zone doing their stretching. That's where they scored their last touchdown, and because they missed that extra point, then they don't get a running clock. But again, they're going to get a chance to make it a running clock after they have to face the Muncie Central offense. And hopefully Muncie Central went into their locker room, made some adjustments, and can somehow clean up the mistakes they were making with the interception and then the fumble they had.
One thing I do want to point out in this second half, I know the scoreboard, there's a big discrepancy between the two teams, but one thing that is going to be showcased in this second half is the cultures of these two teams. Kokomo has a culture of champions. They have a culture of winning, and they're showing it right now. They've been doing calisthenics before the second half for probably the past 2 or 3 minutes, and the Bearcats of Muncie Central just now coming back onto the field. It's going to be a clash of cultures tonight. Can Muncie Central, under their new coach, kind of rebuild and reintegrate a winning culture, a winning program, despite the fact that they're not winning on the scoreboard? That is my big key to this second half, is whether or not Muncie Central continues to have some fire. We know their coaches are fired up. We heard them from the sideline all the way up here at the end of that first half. And we'll see if they continue that fire into the second.
And you talked about coming into the game. Kokomo is 3-0, and then Muncie Central was 0-3. But we were down at the concession stand that just happened to be right past the south end zone. By the way, if you ever come to the Muncie Central football game, try out the cheese fries. They are fantastic. But Kokomo was really getting into it. They're very emotional. They're very invested. They could just walk into this game confident that they're going to win this game, but you can't think that way, because once you start thinking we can beat this team easily, that's when they come back and they get you.
For sure. I would say that confidence when it comes to Kokomo and also coincides with their energy, because like you said, you can't come in cocky, you can't come in thinking you're going to win, but if you come in with a lot of energy, you come in with a lot of tenacity, as Kokomo did, that kind of exudes the confidence, and we saw it on the other side for Muncie Central. They looked pretty lackadaisical in the warm-up, maybe a little bit scared. They've heard about this matchup all week. They know what Kokomo can do. They know what Kokomo is capable of, and right now that energy that Kokomo brought in the first half paid off on the scoreboard, up by 34.
Well, this is our Week 4 matchup. Next week, we'll be at Delta, where Delta will be hosting Mount Vernon. So I guess we'll just be packing up shop and going 10 minutes the opposite direction, and we'll be resetting, as Delta is not too far away from where we're standing right now, as Delta has played Muncie Central. That was back in Week 2, and they won that game. We're going to take a quick look at scores around the Muncie area right before we start the second half. Marion Giants up 4 points on the Anderson Indians, 16-12, as they are now in the third quarter. Madison Grant Argyles. Wow. They're up 47 mil on the Blackfoot Bruins.
That's a hobbled Blackford team that we saw last week, missing one of their better runners, and that's a tough score heading into the second half for the Bruins once again.
Well, team that we saw, the Frankton Eagles, they're taking on the Eastbrook Panthers. They are trailing by 12 points at halftime. North Decatur Chargers up 22-0 against the Shenandoah Raiders. Lutheran Saints, wow, that's even worse. They're up 45-6 on the Lapel Bulldogs.
Lapel's a team that has seemed inconsistent this year. We've seen them play Frankton, but their offense has gone very back and forth in different games. Some nights they're firing on all cylinders, other nights they can't seem to get anything rolling. Something they're going to want to shore up as we head into the back half of the season.
You already know that the Lutheran Saints are keeping a close eye for Ty Dollar in that ball game. Greenfield Central Cougars, they're pitching a shutout against the Pendleton Heights Arabians, 20-0 at halftime. Alexandria Monroe Tigers, we saw them last week. They are cruising to a 35-0 score against the Panthers of Elwood High School. And that is all the scores around the Muncie area, all being reported on the Indiana High School Sportsnet, where you can find this game being streamed, all of our future games, and then some football state rankings. If you click on 4A, you'll find Kokomo. And they've really played like that number 5 ranked team in the first half. Let's see if they can finish the ball game just as strong as they started. As they're going to line up this kick, as Muncie Central did win the coin toss in the beginning of the game, but deferred, and that's what allowed Kokomo to get the ball first and then score a touchdown on their first drive on a connection between Barker and John Sharp. Here we go. Kicking off, Jackson Seifert Barnes for the Wildcats. Bearcats back to receive it. And here we go. This second half is ready to go. Josiah Ullman has the ball. Ullman going to his left, trying to get to his sideline. He gets popped. And he gets popped again. Kokomo was working down the field. The first player to wrap him up was Casey Koch, and then Jackson Seifert Barnes, the kicker, lowers his head and levels him over.
What did we talk about, Andrew? We talked about energy. Kokomo comes out with energy to start this second half, and now Muncie Central is being forced to respond after a subpar kickoff return.
Well, the first drive of the second half will start on the 15-yard line for Muncie Central. Trenton French, who had a rough first half, has the ball go through his hands again. Ball rolling away, and that is now inside the 5. I just had some deja vu from the first half.
Absolutely. I was going to say exactly the same thing. I mean, it was in the first 2 drives of the first half. French fumble snap, and now once again, Muncie Central is forced inside their 5-yard line for a second and long.
Just the simple mistakes like that have been hurting the Bearcats all night. They're going to empty up the back, screen play to the left, and pushing them out of bounds. The pass was completed to DeMarcus Cole as he was pushed out by the only cornerback that's listed in Rest Beard.
Yeah.
Now 3rd and forever for the Bearcats.
My goodness, Shane Spear right up the middle there, providing the pressure there, delivering the hit on Trenton French, forcing him to get the ball away. Another big play from the 6'2 linebacker.
The linebacker play by Kokomo has been spectacular. Going through the air, French sidearms it, completes the pass, but they go nowhere. And there's a flag. Wow. That one just went flying, and I'm kind of curious if that could have been a face mask. One of the players for Kokomo is leaving without his helmet.
Are you saying face mask against?
It might be on the offense.
Yeah.
No, they're going to move it.
Penalties against the Wildcats. Face mask.
Face mask. But it looked like they only moved it 5 yards.
Field says 3rd down and 8 now. And it looks like it's not a loss of down. They're going to replay 3rd down.
Replay 3rd down, so the pass play is negated. French throws it, and it's intercepted. They're going to walk it in. Pick 6. Dre Kirby was there, and Holly nothing but a seam and green grass. He breaks into the end zone, and it's a 40-point lead for Kokomo.
I'm not sure if the ball was batted at the line or if it was just a wobbly pass from French, but it falls right into the breadbasket of Kirby, and he had a lot of daylight in front of him, prancing into the end zone for that touchdown. And that just about seals the deal. Kokomo came out with energy on special teams. They bring it on defense as well, and they capitalize. And that was what they were missing, was a defensive touchdown, and they get it here early in this third quarter.
Wobbly pass, and Kokomo was looking for a 35-point lead. They have a 40-point lead. That will be a running clock as you see it running away in that scoreboard, and it hits off the upright, and that's no good. And as a Bears fan, I have seen that too much in my lifetime, and I won't talk about it. And with that, we're going to send it over to Sam Niger, who was very patient about being the play-by-play guy. We're going to hand it off to him as we'll take a quick break. 40-point lead for Kokomo.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Muncie Central High School. My name is Sam Niger. As Andrew said, my partner, Andrew Mild. I'm taking over the play-by-play duties for the rest of this second half. You got that wonderful pick-six call there to start this third quarter and make the game 47-7 after the doink off the upright on the PAT. The second missed extra point for Kokomo in this game, and they are set to kick it away once more with Jackson Seifert Barnes.
A lot like Dre Kirby. I was gift wrapped at that last touchdown.
The Muncie Central offense will take over as the kick is bobbled. I guess I shouldn't speak too soon, as there's a hole out to the right now and a decent return for Muncie Central to start the drive. So it's going to be some okay field position for the Bearcats coming off the return from Josiah Ullum.
Yeah, for Trenton French, that was the second interception of the game, the third turnover all together for the Bearcats. And I don't know if you can really summarize cleaning up too much. I mean, we're going to sound like broken records here, Sam, but that's really all you can say about this ball game.
I think that return does help a little bit, though, from Ullum. It gives this Bearcats team the cushion they needed. As you mentioned in the first half, they spent so much of it in the shadow of their own end zone. So now they have a little breathing room with French from the gun. They're going to hand it off up the middle. And a whole stone wall of Wildcats to wrap up the ball carrier that time. Maybe 2 yards that time for Muncie Central on first down. Carrying the ball for the Bearcats was number 22, Marquise Allen. The freshman gets a touch to open this third quarter.
Allen with the carry. You see that Muncie Central's going a lot faster pace here.
From the gun again. Play action. And brought down from behind is Trenton French. The ball came loose. The officials say it was on the ground, but what a wallop that time from the Kokomo defense. A whole slew of white jerseys were in there that time to bring French down.
Say hello to Tracy Dowling. He's been working on the left tackle all night, and he has been winning. I don't know if you watched the Rams-Bills game last night. It was a lot like Von Miller. Same thing for Tracy Dowling tonight. He has been a menace. He brought down French hard.
Not often that you see the linebacker outrun the quarterback, but it happened that time as French takes it from the gun again. He will throw. Pocket collapses, chucks it downfield, and the ball is hauled in. What a grab in double coverage that time for DeMarcus Cole. French's leading target, and that's a big play for Muncie Central here in this third quarter.
Well, that's what Muncie Central wanted to incorporate in the first half. They had the mismatch down the sidelines with Cole being a lot taller then the safety, and that time French made the adjustment, so hey, you know what, let me put it on the top shelf this time, and Cole came down with it.
The offensive line survived for just long enough that time for French to get the pass away. French this time is going to hand it off to his right. Little scuffle in the backfield, and scampering forward for a couple yards that time is number 4, Josiah Ullum, getting a little more work carrying the football.
Yeah, I saw that running clock going on, as even if there's an incomplete pass, the clock still goes, as we learned well into the last week. And I think that's why Muncie Central is trying to go quick, at least make this less than 35 points.
2nd and 6. French. Play action. Launches it to the end zone, and it was just out of reach of his intended target. Flags fly in the end zone as he was looking for number 3 in the end.
Yeah, it was Rest Beard.
It was Rest Beard who had.
They're going to get him for pass interference. I think they're going back to Olm there, who's in the slot there.
Yeah,
actually, they might. I'm not sure who this could be on.
Still awaiting.
Moving Muncie Central back. That's an offensive pass interference.
And that could be a tough break for the Bearcats. They are going to move the ball forward after the ruling from the official, so that's going to move the sticks for Muncie Central as well, as it was a nice pitch by French looking for for Ullum in the slot. So
they tried to go for the back of the end zone where only Ullum could get it, and that forced the pass interference on the safety. Rice Beard, who's been doing the best he can tonight, just got mishandled.
And this time the freshman, number 22, Marquise Allen, gets dropped right at the line of scrimmage. They're going to say he loses 2 yards. A great read by the Kokomo defense that time.
Well, here we go. That's why Kokomo has been one of the best teams in 4A so far this year. It is right after that play where you get pass interference. You bend, you don't break, and you bounce back for the next one.
It's going to be 2nd and long now for French. And there was a little movement up front, maybe a late snap, and that's going to be a false start against the Wildcats. So another mental mistake backs the team in purple up even farther. And they are certainly not helping themselves here, already down by 40 points.
You've heard the saying, 1 step forward, 3 step back. That's really been the story for the team in the purple uniforms tonight. Once they make a great play and they get a pass interference call and they get right inside the red zone, they then get a false start that puts them outside of the red zone.
Absolutely, especially on as productive of a drive as this has been. Mental mistakes killing the Bearcats right now as DeMarcus Cole gets his helmet fixed on the near sideline by the official.
Good assist.
It was by the man in the stripes. French from the gun once more. This time he throws a quick screen. It's Cole on the sidelines, and he's forced out of bounds after a quick pickup. He'll get just a couple of those yards back, maybe trying to catch Kokomo off guard with the screen pass, but it's going to be 3rd and long now, 3rd and 13, for the Bearcats.
I really like the play call there, except Rondell Green was up for the test right there. They put him in an open field spot. That's a really tough challenge for Rondell Green, who's 5'7", and you got Cole that is a lot taller. Cole's going to go to the other side of the field now. They may throw this ball here.
French mishandles the snap, gets it back anyways, looks to the end zone, and wide open touchdown, hauled in by DeMarcus Cole. Trenton French did well to get the ball away with the pocket collapsing after he mishandled the snap and delivers a dart right into the breadbasket of Cole. 2nd touchdown of the night, and the 2nd time we see fireworks fly for the team in purple. Muncie Central starting to carve into this lead for Kokomo. It is now 47-13 with the extra point unit coming on.
Yeah, there's a lack of communication on the outside, the numbers by Kokomo, which allowed Cole to get wide open. Easy pitch and catch there, put up 6 points for Muncie Central.
The extra point is a dart right through the uprights from Hannah, and that is going to be make the score 14-47. Andrew, I saw you were pointing something out on the Muncie Central sideline.
Trenton French running off the field was limping a little bit.
He has taken some shots this game for sure. He's been running around all over. He has had a couple of carries, 15 carries on the season heading into tonight, and 1 touchdown on the ground, but he took a wallop from Tracy Dowling on that last drive. Hopefully he's okay because that was arguably his best drive of the game on that last possession.
And you know what? I've been really impressed with Trenton French, even though the numbers may not show it. He does have a passing touchdown now. He had a rushing touchdown earlier in the game after he had a screenplay to go for 67 yards. That time he stays in there, even with his team being down 40 points. He eats one off the chin, and he throws a nice pass to Cole for the touchdown in the back of the end zone. Really have to respect the man for his toughness and his ability to stay in the ball game despite being down so much.
Well, when a team is looking for leadership, they look towards their quarterback, and no better player to lead this team than senior quarterback Trenton French. He shows his grit and toughness there to get Muncie Central another 7 up on the board. They now trail by 33. Kickoff unit awaits for Kokomo, back deep to receive, as Sam Hanna will kick it away for the Muncie Central Bearcats. Line drive kick. It is fielded by Kokomo inside the 15, and with a little speed ahead, taken out of bounds at the 40 on the return that time was Devin Thomas, number 25 for Kokomo. And the ball's going to be spotted at the 42, so good field position for Kokomo once more, as we've seen a lot of all game.
Yeah, after the touchdown by Muncie Central, this is why it's so big. The clock stopped. There's no longer the...
No, the clock is still running at 3:30. Oh, we'll see as the drive continues to wear on if we see an incomplete pass and the clock continues to run, but there was a running clock before that touchdown. Not sure about the rule after Muncie Central is answered, as Kokomo is going to roll with a pitch up the middle to start this drive, and a whole slew of purple defenders were in there to haul down the Kokomo ball carrier. On the carry that time for the Wildcats was Keegan Name, number 22. He had a good deal of work in the first half as well.
And he had a nice long scamper for around, I want to say 40 yards. For
Yeah. I'm interested to see how the Kokomo offense comes out in this drive because we really haven't seen them at all here in this second half. I mean, we had the pick six and then the long drive by Muncie Central. So we'll see if the Wildcats offense comes out with some energy as well. It's a pitch end around to Name. Name cuts it back, and he is almost slung down, but he makes the yard to gain, or at least very close to it. We'll see the spot from the officials, but another good run from Name. And it looks like they're going to mark him just short, so 3rd and inches now from just inside Muncie Central territory.
That might be a literal inch between the ball and the yard marker, but you said we'll see if there's an incompletion. I don't think Kokomo is going to throw the ball at all this second half.
We'll see if they don't try and get Barker some more reps, but it does look like they are going to run the ball a lot, as you said, Andrew. The pitch again, up the middle, and easily making the yard to gain that time was number 33, Junior Story, another one of the weapons that we've seen on offense running the football for Kokomo, and he gets it done easily that time, just kind of hopping over the pile.
And we have a Kokomo player down.
Yeah, it looks like we've gotten a
timeout. Trainer's running out.
Hopefully it's okay. Still awaiting the number on the field. Can't tell who's down. Hopefully this is just cramping. It's what it looks like right now.
Now you just have to wonder if maybe it's some cramping, maybe getting into it. From where we're up here, we have a lot of wind we're working with, so it's been nice and cool all night. But it was hot when the game started, and if you're not hydrating, you're going to get some cramping. Which, you know what the best thing is for cramping?
I know what you're going to say. I think I know what you're going to say.
I want to see what your answer is before I say it.
Is it Pedialyte? Are you going to say Pedialyte?
No,
what are you going to say? Okay. You weren't going. What were you going to say then, Andrew?
Juice.
Pickle juice. Interesting.
Pickle juice, yeah.
I don't know that I could put myself through pickle
Did
juice.
you ever see that game with Tyreek Hill when he was drinking that little bottle that had green stuff in it?
Yep.
Pickle juice.
Pickle juice. Interesting.
Yeah.
I would have
in case,
thought.
Sam, you ever cramp? Pickle juice.
All right.
Have it ready at all times.
I will keep that in mind. Maybe I'll just drink my Pedialyte beforehand so that I'm
Also
nice and
really
hydrated. So that I'm nice and
Probably tastes a lot better
hydrated.
than pickle juice.
That's what I was thinking too. I love pickles, but I don't know that I could down a whole vial of pickle juice, no matter how much they want to give me. Thankfully, though, the Kokomo player was able to return to the sidelines. Looks like he got those cramps taken care of, and we will restart football here. The officials' timeout did blow the clock dead. It rolls now inside a minute and a half to play here in this third quarter. Barker is under center. He pitches it again. This time it's Name, the explosiveness forward as he's slung down, but not before he makes the yard to gain and move the sticks. And Keegan Name showed off some explosiveness that time up the middle, really using his speed here at the end of this third quarter.
Yeah, and even with that injury, you see that the clock is still running. Now with that injury, we're already under a minute.
It has been a quick third quarter, that's for sure, with Kokomo driving. The pitch again, it is Name, hesitating behind his linebacker, or his offensive line this time, excuse me, and he's wrapped up after a decent chunk, maybe 4 yards on that play.
Did you ever play the old Madden game, Sam?
Man, the oldest Madden game I had was probably Madden 08.
Do you remember when they used to call the player's first name?
No, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? It used
No.
to be first and then name, and then it was last name. So when I saw Keegan Name, made me think of old Madden games, man. Good old days.
Yeah, that brings you back for sure. There are a lot of kids around the country that can relate to waking up and playing some Madden. As it's a QB keeper this time for Barker, and the pile continues to move, and that will move the sticks, and we see the running. We see the moving feet that time from Barker. One thing he has not done a whole lot this game is run the ball, and that run takes us to the end of the third quarter. We are heading to the fourth. Still all Kokomo Wildcats in this game, 47-14. A touchdown apiece for both of these teams as we head into the last quarter of play between the Muncie Central Bearcats and the Kokomo Wildcats here on IndianHighSchoolSports.net, presented by Greg Hubler Ford. And welcome back to Muncie Central High School, ladies and gentlemen, with the Kokomo Wildcats driving after the big run from quarterback Evan Barker to end the third quarter. The Wildcats have entered the red zone, trying to tack on another touchdown to what has already been a dominating performance. They're up 33. It's 47-14. Looks like a new quarterback has entered the contest for Kokomo, as they're going to start with a pitch to number 30, Buddy Love, who gets his first carry of the game, and Love tries to bounce out to his right, picks up about 3. So this makes our job a little more challenging here in this fourth quarter. Lots of new faces entering the ball game for the Wildcats.
Hey, it might be more challenging to find the name, but when you get a name like Buddy Love, that's rewarding in what itself, Sam.
That is made for TV stuff right there, for sure.
It's kind of like Jackie Moon.
The freshman quarterback under center now is Braden Humphreys, as he gives it to Love once more. Love has a hole out to his right, and Love turns on the Jets to head to the end zone, and that's a quick touchdown for Buddy Love. Two positive touches for Buddy Love, and he now has a touchdown associated with his name. That's the sophomore for Kokomo.
That was a really nice play right there. A little bit of trickery from the Kokomo offense. And, you know, it's one of those nights Kokomo's going to have a nice bus ride home. And for Muncie Central, it's not the showing you wanted against the number 5 team at your home stadium.
No, absolutely not. Kokomo has looked dominant, and even now as they bring their substitutions into the game, Buddy Love taking care of business for the Wildcats.
I am going to go home, and I'm going to change the name on Madden to Buddy Love.
That's a pretty spectacular name. We've talked about the names on this Kokomo team. They have some fantastic names.
I don't know what it is about Kokomo, but they have the best names.
They have a lot of things going for them besides their names too, and you can look at the scoreboard to figure that out. 53-14 now, about as dominating as you can get, especially on the road. They have brought the energy, and it has just never left. As the clock is stopped at 10:27 to play in this game, Kokomo will kick the ball away here in just a moment.
Yeah, I've called a lot of football games in my time, Sam. I'm thinking that 53 points is the most points I've ever seen put up in a game. Seen a lot of defensive matchups, but I was really impressed with this double wing formation. It is really, as I call it, the unicorn offense. It was really fun to watch. You don't really see a whole lot of teams use it, but I was doing some research on it. It was created by a head coach in California by the name of Don Barnum, who then broke the record for most points scored by any high school team across the nation. Do you want to take a guess on how many points they averaged per game that year?
Man, I'm going to go with 42 points. 42 points?
Those
North
numbers,
of that.
bounce them up.
Man, 50 points?
Bounce them up.
60 points.
You're getting close.
Wow, 65.
63.
63 points per game.
63.3.
Well,
Those
they
are what we call video game numbers.
yeah, if that doesn't prove that the offense works right there, I don't know what does. But they certainly executed it to perfection tonight. It is a hard offense to execute properly, but Kokomo is using it to clean up against a lot of really talented opponents. They'll face a lot more talented teams this season than Muncie Central. But as for the show they put on tonight, it really doesn't get much better than this if you're a Wildcats fan. The kick is up and away. It's a short one this time. It's going to be fielded inside the 25 by Ullum, and Ullum has some space up the middle, cuts it back to his left. Ullum trying to get a blocker in front of him. Out across the 50. Does he have the speed? He has the green grass in front of him. Ullum towards the end zone, and he is going to go all the way. Joey Ullum with the scamper off the kickoff, and that is the most electric play we have seen from Muncie Central tonight. The answer from the Bearcats at home, as that makes it a 54-20 game. Andrew, what'd you see on that kickoff return?
I just see a team that, even though they're down a lot of points, they are going to go 110% and act as though this is a tie ball game. And Ullum had flirted with breaking a couple. That time he got a convoy in front of him, and they escorted him to the end zone. And you're right, the most electric play we've seen tonight.
Extra point opportunity now for Hannah to make it 21-54. And the extra point is sent through, so we've got some back and forth quick action here in the fourth quarter. A touchdown apiece for both sides, as that's going to give the ball right back to the Wildcats. From a strategic standpoint, that might not do as much for Muncie Central, who maybe needed the offensive reps, but hey, on the scoreboard, they'll take the 21 points.
Yeah, and for Josiah Ullum, if you have him on your fantasy team, that's going to help you out a little bit. I
Yeah.
don't know if there's a North Central Fantasy Football League, but if you started him, you got some points on that kick return. But it's still been a fun night, despite what the score has said. We have seen two really talented teams. You have a Kokomo team that you knew was going to come in. They were going to dominate the game. But for Muncie Central, I think there's a lot of positives that they can work off of. You saw that right there with Josiah Ullum. I thought Trenton French really showed that he is not only talented, but also a very tough quarterback. And when your quarterback can offer toughness, then he can be respected as a leader. You saw it with Joe Burrow when he was at LSU. He got blew up by UCF in a bowl game, and the next year, they're national champions. He's winning the Heisman. So I think that if the next line of Bearcats can incorporate that toughness and resiliency, the Muncie Central could be rebuilding around their new head coach of Kyle Badgett, who's in his first year as head coach.
I was just going to mention that new head coaching hire for Muncie Central, and the coaching staff all along the sideline here right in front of us this whole game has been fiery. They have been lighting their players up. They hold themselves to a high standard despite what has been not exactly a winning program these past few years. And the culture is definitely starting to shift as that kickoff goes straight out of bounds. The squib kick, not executed exactly how Muncie Central wanted, but they'll still take the rep.
Yeah, that was an onside kick attempt that went out, and that means that Kokomo will start right where the ball went out of bounds, which is the 45-yard line.
Kokomo has had great field position all game. They've won the field position battle as well. It's just little things like that that makes Kokomo as good as they are. They don't give up turnovers either. They've just looked sharp in all aspects of tonight.
They really have, yeah. Kokomo, there's a reason why they're a number 5 team. And we start seeing teams in the top 5 for this rankings in the 4A division. That's when you're going to start seeing teams that are not only talented, but do the small things right. And that's what allowed the Wildcats to just dominate their first 4 weeks of play, and they're going to be en route to a 4-0 start.
Under center again for the Wildcats is number 35, Brandon Humphreys, as he will keep it for an up-the-gut rush. The pile is still moving. He's going to pick up 3 at most, as a flag flew right at the beginning of that play. And it's going to be a penalty against Kokomo, as tempers are flying on the field now. It is an illegal shift, but
yeah, that was 35 of Kokomo and 24 of Muncie Central. Yeah, it is an illegal shift on Kokomo. Too many people moving when the ball is snapped. And again, I think it's going to turn more of your pressure cooker game with it being a 34-point game. And Kokomo just really, they scored first, and after that, that was really the rest of the game.
Yeah, but I still can't get over Brandon Humphreys with the extracurriculars after that play, getting into it with a couple Muncie Central defenders. Humphreys is only 5'4", 125 pounds as a freshman. As he pitches it here, another end around. Buddy Love again has some room to run out to his right. There are flags all over the field. Maybe it's coming back, but as for now, Love shows off the speed once more, and the sophomore is getting some attention. This might be coming back, but as for Kokomo,
I think they're going to get Jaden Foreman for holding there.
Another sophomore, Jaden Foreman, for the Wildcats. But hey, Kokomo's getting to run with a lot of guys that they aren't necessarily used to seeing out on the field right now, and there have definitely been some positives through a drive and a half or so.
Well, the second flag just got thrown in there.
And once again,
threw one flag on top of the other.
Yeah, we're here, and it looks like there's a timeout as well taken by Muncie Central. So there's the holding call against Kokomo. And it looks like that's going to be the only foul on the play. I'm not sure why the second flag came out of the pocket of the officials.
I'm wondering if maybe they both saw it and they threw both flags, but they needed to mark it where the spot of the foul was. So then they marked it back from where that foul was. So it's going to be a 1st and 15 now, from 1st and 23, correction. So instead of 10 yards, they lost a lot more than that.
Yeah, it was a big pickup by Love, but now they're moved way back. We'll see what this second-string offense from Kokomo can do. If they can burst open another big rush from Love, then they'll have a lot of good things going for them on this drive as well. We're about halfway, a little over halfway through this fourth quarter, 6:35 left to play. We've got a 54-20 ball game in favor of the visiting Wildcats. Sam Niger, Andrew Mile with you tonight on a beautiful night here in Muncie, Indiana, on IndianaHighSchoolSports.net, brought to you by Greg Hubler Ford. Under center again is Humphreys. He pitches it behind him. Out to the right is number 41, Brixton Morris, who gets his first touch, and Morris gets back to about where this drive started at midfield. They'll mark him short at about the 49 or so yard line. So it's still going to be 3rd and long, but a nice carry by Morris to make this at least a little more manageable on 2nd down.
They're still behind the double sticks, and for Kokomo, we talked about it last week, Blackford and Monroe. It's nice to just see players that don't typically get the play come into the game and leave their mark on the field.
Under center again is Humphreys, and Humphreys bursts forward for a nice carry. The Kokomo offensive line was moving well into the secondary, but they left their quarterback behind. The clock rolls on a 3rd and manageable now for the Wildcats.
Brandon Humphreys with the carry.
Yeah, right now, Kokomo is just milking that clock. They can see their first 4-0 start in over a decade coming closer and closer as this game has gone forward. Really impressed with Kokomo tonight. Really excited what they're going to do for the rest of the season.
Well, Humphreys is in the game, but Evan Barker dominated on the offensive side of the ball for Kokomo, as there's a great read in the backfield and a great tackle coming from number 22 for Muncie Central. That's Marquise Allen, who hauls down the ball carrier in the backfield. But as I was mentioning, Andrew, Evan Barker, quarterback for Kokomo, what did you think of him tonight now that his night is officially over?
I'm sorry.
I know you were dancing right next to me. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good. Evan Barker, the quarterback for Kokomo, not in the game anymore. Now that his night's over, what'd you think of him?
I thought you did phenomenal.
As we are back to football now. Number 41 gets the carry. That's Brixton Morris once more, the sophomore, out to his right. He gets back to the original start of the drive at the 50-yard line, so it'll be 4th and 10, and it looks like the punting unit is going to come. Oh, excuse me, that was 4th down. So Kokomo just continues to run plays, get their offense as many reps as possible, and it's back to the Bearcats.
Yeah, you know what? I think Evan Barker had a serious talk with his head coach coming into this ball game, talking with Coach Austin Colby. And I think they wanted to incorporate more passing. I think they want to open up the playbook a little bit. They know their schedule is going to get tougher, so might as well work on it here against Muncie Central.
High snap hauled in by French, and he just tossed it over the whole defense that time, trying to avoid a loss.
But he had some really nice passes. There was one that was sort of a duck that somehow his brother was able to bring it in and make it a 1st down. But he is a good veteran leader. I thought that he made nice, strong throws tonight. He really has the footwork for it. And we'll see if after this game that Kokomo is going to say, hey, you know what? Let's be a little bit more balanced.
As for the other quarterback, it's another high snap for French as he checks a screen out to Cole, and Cole takes a hit in the backfield but tries to get a little speed towards the edge. He steps out of bounds just past the 50 into Kokomo territory as we near 3 minutes left of football.
And one thing that's really been frustrating for Muncie Central is the snaps have not been quality snaps. They've really made French jump up, work his way down low. You just never know where the ball is going to come, and if you just can't catch the snap and scan at the same time, it's going to be tough.
Center Heath Logan is also a senior as French tosses one downfield, and it's hauled in again by Ullum. Ullum, another big play. The quarterback kind of gave up, and Ullum runs into the end zone for another 4th quarter touchdown.
Yeah, Jashir Brown, the senior DB there, never turned his head. And by the time he realized that the ball was on him, Ullum was gone.
Yeah.
And Ullum caught the ball. He walked into the end zone, and yeah, start him on your fantasy team next week, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, a less than impressive play that time from Jashir Brown. We haven't called his name a lot tonight, but this time Ullum gets the best of him, coming from the slot again. 26-54 is the score now, as Muncie Central is making this a reasonable score line.
Yeah. I mean, it was a really good fight at the end by Muncie Central, something they can go into next week for their next football game. But they're going to still lose by more than half their score. Or exactly half their score.
Yeah. Look, Kokomo averages 4.3 points per game against them. This is by far the most points they've given up all year. So Muncie Central certainly can take that as a win heading into next week. We've got about 1 minute and 48 seconds of football left. But overall in this 4th quarter, Muncie Central should be happy that they are going against the 2nd string for the Wildcats, but the Bearcats have definitely won this 4th quarter. Too little too late, though, for the team in purple.
Yeah, and now they're going to start looking forward to next week when they have to face off against Lafayette Jefferson, where they are going to be at home for that ball game. And for Kokomo, their next game is against Marion next week, in which Kokomo will return back home and go against a team that's 1-3. They already lost their game tonight. What a ball game. It was fun.
It has been a fun ball game. The scoreline doesn't necessarily reflect how dominant Kokomo has been, especially on the defensive side of things. 2 touchdowns in this 4th quarter for Muncie Central. One was a kickoff return for a touchdown by Joey Ullum.
Never see those nowadays.
I know. It was a sheer effort play by Ullum, and it's brought some energy back to this Muncie Central team as we see another squib kick here. Hauled in nicely that time by Evan Barker for Kokomo.
How many times have you ever seen your quarterback on the hands team?
Well, a lot of times when you get this East Central Indiana football, the quarterbacks have got to be jacks of all trade, and Barker shows off the athleticism, climbs the ladder there that time to give his team good field position once more.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be a couple knees for Kokomo, and this game is going to be over, and we can head home.
Yeah, play clock has not has not started running yet, but we've got about a minute left of football. Still in the ball game is the 5'4" freshman Brandon Humphreys. He's held his own despite being the littlest guy on the field.
And it was also who's in the game is Brielle Humphreys. She is playing left guard.
And the first knee is taken by Kokomo. Man, they're going to need to run one more play. There's about a 2-second difference between the game clock and the play clock, so they're just going to fire one more play away, and that is going to do it here from Muncie Central High School.
Is that the game?
I think they are just going to go ahead and wave it dead a few seconds early, so the final score from Muncie Central is Kokomo 54, Muncie Central 27. The Wildcats came in with a lot of energy, and they used that energy to score early and often, and they ran away from the Bearcats heading into halftime, put the running clock on them in the second half, and just never looked back. Andrew, some takeaways from tonight's game.
Yeah, you know what? Muncie Central, even though they lost by 27 points, they scored 27 points. I thought their offense showed some resiliency. It was really the defense. You and I talked about the defense really has to step up. They allowed too many big plays tonight against Kokomo. But what can you do against a tandem that is the backfield of Kokomo in the form of Drake Kirby, Junior Story, and Keegan Name. They are well-coached running backs. They don't go down. They're nice and balanced. They will lower their head and knock you over. They'll beat you on the edge and run for the end zone. And Muncie Central, I guess you just have to go into next week and try to bounce back. You're 0-4 now. You know what? The season's not over yet. You can still win a couple of games. And you know what? I think Muncie Central is on the right track to being a powerhouse in this part of the state again.
Absolutely, and I would say your tone alone tells the story of this ball game, dominated by Kokomo, but Muncie Central, they did have a few positives to take away from tonight. We are, I guess, going to wrap the show up. We've got no commercials for you tonight because of those technical difficulties, but we do thank you all for staying with us through those technical difficulties. Lots of thinking on our feet tonight, but we are going to say so long from Muncie Central. Once again, the score 54-27 in favor of the Kokomo Wildcats over the Muncie Central Bearcats. My name is Sam Niger. For Andrew Mild, we are signing off from Muncie, Indiana. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye, Mom.